My name is Tye DeGrange, CEO of Round Barn Labs. We're based in Austin, Texas. We're a performance marketing agency. We consider ourselves a growth agency. We specialize in affiliate, partner, influencer marketing, also paid media, so do a lot on Google, Meta, TikTok. We predominantly help clients that are about 20 million in revenue a year or more. We want to get them to that $100 million range. We've had the pleasure to work with clients in Fortune 100. We've worked with some great brands over the years, and yeah, excited to dive into it. Brands get a lot of value from agencies, especially those that do it right, because it gives them kind of an objective view of the landscape. We're not necessarily incentivized to increase their spend, or not necessarily incentivized to spend media dollars at all. We really want them to be educated around the topics that they need. We want them to hit their goals. So if that's ROAS, if that's revenue, if that's CAC, that's a particular percentage of partner marketing out of their e-commerce revenue. So I think we kind of give them an opportunity to navigate the world in a way that is beneficial to their KPIs, regardless of kind of spend levels and other factors. Round Barn Labs serves brands, minimum 20 million revenue a year up to Fortune 100s, brands that are high growth. We do a lot with consumer, but we also have seen a lot of success with business-to-business partnerships and B2B enterprise. Round Barn Labs offers paid marketing, so paid media, Google, Meta, TikTok, performance marketing, emerging channels there as well, and very heavy focus on influencer, affiliate, and partner marketing. It's kind of critical right now to have partnerships as part of your marketing mix. The rising cost of Google, the rising cost of Meta, it's kind of made it critical to have that be part of the play. It can make up 10, 20, 30% of a brand's revenue. It can be a way to integrate with other brands, brand-on-brand partnerships. It can enable you to have dozens, hundreds, thousands of high-quality content sites that you can partner with. And consumers, I think, have gotten to a place where they feel a little bit more comfortable with that being introduced to them and being a way to educate them on something versus a static banner ad or an advertisement per se. It's I think, a better way to integrate, and we found that people certainly need it right now. We look at a lot of data points to determine, how do we determine and find partnerships. So Round Barn Labs uses a number of things to determine and identify partners. Impact's a key piece of that. We really are diligent about looking at ideal customer persona, the data sets that we are provided from clients, the qualitative and the quantitative side of the data, and enables us to really find a diverse group of partners for our clients. So if they have a particular goal in mind, if they have a particular long-term objective, they want to reach certain KPIs, we're going to cater our mix of partners to that for them. I think that the easiest thing for us is to utilize the partner discovery tool. That for us has really been excellent, and then the ability to filter specifically has been really helpful. So that's enabled us to identify a number of partners in recruitment and be able to bring a lot of value to clients using the platform. A lot of our clients are asking us for return on investment, revenue, MER, so marketing efficiency ratio, hitting a particular CAC goal, sometimes a cost per install goal if it's mobile based. Those are some of the key metrics, but we try to hone in on a North Star metric, kind of one metric that they're really focused on. It allows us to be very focused, and then a multitude of ancillary metrics that support that, and then define kind of the partnership strategy around that to make sure that we reach those goals on a monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis for our clients. For us at Round Barn Labs, Impact's just a great platform to discover partners around, like the filtering mechanism, the discovery, the ease of use. It's a really great way for us to identify who we want to go after, who we want to recruit, and a lot of the work that you all are doing around CRM and identification and messaging over time is really been fantastic. We definitely love the accuracy and the ease of use of the Impact platform. We use the Impact platform a lot for data, to connect data to our own systems, to validate data that we have, and then to visualize that data for clients. It's really something we rely on. It's something that we connect into our internal systems. We show data visualization for our clients so they can see not just what's happening and are we up, are we down, what's changing over time, what type of partner allocation we see in terms of a pie chart view or a line graph view of what's changed over time. But it's really, for us, a way where we can give specific recommendations. I think a lot of folks that are in this world are kind of saying, here is what it is, but we really lean into, here's what it means. This is the why behind the data. Here's why it's important, and Impact lets us do that. Impact's platform makes our job easier in a way, allows us to be more strategic because we can spend less time kind of digging. The UI is quite intuitive. Being able to see that multi-touch view is extremely important. So we can see partners that introduce, partners that were in the middle of that buyer journey, partners that were part of that closing process. We can see how that interacts with other paid channels. And it really helps us make just much better decisioning, much better counsel to clients, as opposed to just, hey, here's the last click conversion, or here's first and last. We can see so much more. So that makes it much easier to be much more strategic. Impact.com is able to see, it allows us to see the entire purchase touchpoint journey for a partner. So we can see content site, we can see influencer, we can see paid search touchpoint, programmatic display touchpoint, loyalty coupon. We can see that entire journey, whereas a lot of the other platforms are really showing us first introduction and kind of that last conversion. So it's a big difference in order to see that visual of all the various touch points leading to a conversion. It just gives us so much more insight. When we see that multi-touch journey, we are able to then over time measure based on that where partners are coming in, where we want to consider valuing them. We look at other data points like percent of new customer, AOV. We want to look at cohorts over time, not in addition to seeing that multi-touch view. That way we can have a better gauge to say this partner should be worth X, or at a payout of Y, this partner might be better because of maybe introducing more new customer, maybe upper funnel more. So for us, it's being able to see that multi-touch view, being able to look at downstream activity as well. It gives us a chance to really measure and value partners at a little bit higher, I think, accuracy. And it also, I think, kind of throws out some of the, well, we're just going to work with these partners only. It kind of limits that blanket view that sometimes people have in the industry, and allows you to say, well, you may think this partner might not be your ideal fit, but they're actually driving really high value. It's often that marketers kind of think one thing, and the data and the hypotheses kind of counterintuitive. So it helps us with that. We've seen clients come into discussions around data and experimentation and hypotheses and start with one conclusion and often end with another because of a better picture of the data. So Impact allows us to see that multi-touch view, allows us to see a lot more than we would otherwise. And so for us, it gives us a better opportunity to do that. It's quite often that our conversations are educational and open-minded, and hey, we may come in with certain notions of a certain partner saying, and sometimes those are validated, but other times we see quite often, I would say probably more than 50% of the time, a conclusion or hypothesis changes because the data supports that. Impact.com definitely makes us more efficient as an agency. The user experience, just being as intuitive as it is, allows us to find things more readily, allows people to locate data quicker, more efficiently. It helps quite a lot there. I think that a lot of the builds, the acquisitions, the products that have been integrated, from fraud monitoring to influencer, bringing partner discovery, bringing a lot of that into the platform has really helped us a lot as well, because we don't have to go to disparate places. We can go to one source to find a lot of that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, for Impact to be able to showcase a lot of the partners just more clearly, the filtering mechanisms around them, it helps us save a lot of time just to kind of get through that recruitment process and identify who we want to work with and as quickly as possible. What we found is that oftentimes when we're doing partner recruitment, we would use tools like SimilarWeb, Ahrefs, SEMrush. I know a number of people have utilized those to kind of see backlinking, search engine results pages. You can kind of take a bit of a page out of the SEO playbook to see that ecosystem of who's linking to who, right? And we can still utilize that, and there's other tools out there that enable that, but that's not really built for partner marketing. That's not really built for our world. And so Impact's partner discovery is just a little bit more, caters to what we do in partner marketing, and a little bit more relevant, a little bit easier to navigate to. They're right there in the platform. They're currently, you can see who's joined, who's not joined. Much easier way to navigate that. Utilizing some of the other tools outside of the partner marketing ecosystem can work, but it's going to just take a lot more time. You can kind of hunt and search all you want, and I've done it many ways, from just Google searching yourself to utilizing a lot of those tools, but Impact certainly made it a lot easier. Partnerships are super integral to the brands we work with. They need to diversify. They cannot have all their eggs in the Google and Meta basket. They want to have a collaboration with content. They want to be able to surface that out. And they know it's growing. They want to mitigate their risk and their cost. That's a huge factor for them. For partnerships, from my view, partnerships are key for consumers because there's a lot of discovery opportunity there, right? You know what you're looking for in Google. Google's got all kinds of bells and whistles to send at consumers that come in. Same with Meta's platform. They're amazing at that. They're amazing at capturing demand. They're amazing at some of that introduction, but not all of that introduction is done by them. And consumers need some, hey, top 10 running shoes, top 10 travel guides for Bali. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of use cases where customers need that introduction and that education of the nuances and the details. Higher end products that might require months of research, if you think about it, right? You're looking at pages of things about a vehicle or something higher end. You might take your time on that. It might not just be 2 Google searches. So I think consumers need more of that information to help them make a decision, especially ones that are larger. So in my view, partnerships help build trust with consumers because you've got not just one voice kind of explaining the value of a brand. It's not just the brand itself. It's not something you interact with on Google or Facebook, It could be dozens of voices explaining why a brand is important, explaining why a brand matters, helping people know how to utilize it. Could be a YouTube influencer leveraging partner marketing. It could be a blogger that's really small but niche and important. You could have, a loyalty site kind of exposing you to a brand that alongside competitors you didn't realize existed. You might have, amazing media house that has like a bunch of content commerce opportunities, and you're reading, details about a product that you're considering. So I think it does add a lot of credibility, it diversifies, and seeing it from multiple voices, I think, is really helpful to a lot of consumers. Yeah, so Round Barn Labs chooses Impact to run programs just because you guys are really innovating the most. You're really bringing in talent that knows the space quite well. You're bringing tools and innovation from partner discovery to fraud protection. We find it really the easiest UX to utilize by far. The data source is trusted and valid. And for us also having a collaboration, there's an opportunity for us to communicate, to give feedback, to share ideas, to ask questions, to inform kind of how things are being done. It's extremely helpful for us, and that's why we would choose Impact. Trends in partner marketing are super interesting right now, and I think everything in digital is moving very quickly. From my view, people are really hungry for content. As you know, at eBay, content really emerged as a great view of incrementality, as a great introducer, as a great way to market. And so I think brands have caught on to that over the last 10 years, over the last 5 years. It just seems to be more people doubling down on content commerce, the listicle, the gift guides, those kind of guides to introduce people to brands. That's really been important, and it's going to continue to be. I think in the fintech, the card-linked offers pieces have really exploded. That's something that's become an opportunity that I think if you're not really tapping into that, you're missing something. Other trends I see in the space, I think people are starting to come back to demand more quality in terms of the partners and monitoring of fraud. I think it goes in waves. I think sometimes it becomes more important in different times of the cycle of our business, and I think it's starting to come back up again, which is important. It's something near and dear to me, given that was something we monitored so much at eBay. I also think that trends in influencer are not going away. They become really central to a lot of what people do in marketing. Our thesis at RBL with our flywheel is we need to have a really strong converting landing page experience. That conversion rate adoption is going to get influencers and affiliates to really adopt you more. And then you can use that as a whitelist to get influencer content into your paid social ads to vouch for you and get customers excited about your brand, as opposed to your brand just saying it. So I think those are really important trends to focus on.